confirmation then of the lineup. The Mulder twins will go off first and third. Jan Swiatek, Cow up next. Silva Santibáñez, and Oficialski, Jimenez, the man to watch, of course. Moving down through the line, Lucas Silva Santibáñez, Simon Albrecht, the other big name. And Gwendal Le Piver. May well be, if this goes according to the form book, that Jimenez, Le Piver, and the German Albrecht will be battling it out for the podium spots, but there are a handful of other skaters definitely capable on their day of gate crashing that particular party. Sometimes these events, you just never know with live sport. Sometimes these events go exactly to form, other times there are surprises. What will this men's 200 meter time trial bring us today? Well, there's the Silva Santibáñez brothers just getting themselves ready, and a very big and appreciative crowd in attendance early. And Ronald Mulder is ready to lead this qualification. We are officially underway. There's Ronald Mulder. In many ways, the unlucky man. First out of the traps. Nice tight line through the chicane there. And then really just stretching it out there for a time of 17.4, and look at the kind of speed that these athletes can generate over such a short distance, over 40 kilometers an hour.
And now it's turn for second skater.
17.408 Mulder's time. If Jan Swiatek can get a 17-second time, he will be delighted. One of the outsiders, but off he goes, the pole. Good home support for Swiatek, and indeed all these Polish skaters, they really have been embraced by this home crowd. Yeah, you can just listen to that motivation for Swiatek. It's all about Swiatek against the clock. Yeah, he goes well beyond the 17 seconds that he would have been hoping for, but that's not exactly a surprise. Just outside 19 seconds for the pole, 19.05. That won't be good enough for a place in the final 12. Here comes the second twin from the Netherlands, Michel Mulder. He'll be hoping the truth is out there. So his twin brother Ronald registers 17.408. Now what can Michel bring to the party? Taking a really nice tight bend. Got a good line through the chicane as well. No wasted energy or time there. That's pretty good. He'll tuck in just behind his brother, 17.504. And that's just been shaved off by 0.06 of a second. 17.498 now. He still stays behind Ronald, but both of them 17.4, separated by a few hundredths of a second. Gao Maoqi of Chinese Taipei is the next man to the start line. Only the 12 fastest times will qualify. The final later this morning. There will be a break while we get ready for the women's final at the top of the hour, and then The men's final will follow almost immediately after that, and Cow will be hoping that he is among the 12 survivors. 17.546 puts him behind the Mulder twins, and Cow will have to wait and see if that's good enough. Got a chance. But he's one of those who will have to wait and see.
And now the race will continue with Chilean skater. Please welcome Emmanuel Silva Santibanez.
The older of the Chilean brothers, Emmanuel Silva Santibanez, very experienced, very decorated athlete in the sport of speed skating, and has saved himself for the road. We didn't see him on the track, where his brother picked up a bronze medal in the 500-meter sprint. Now Emmanuel, pretty quick through the chicane there, and pretty quick all round. Just outside 17 seconds, 17.054. And I think we can safely say, even at this early stage of qualifying, that Emmanuel Silva Santibanez will be appearing again in the final. Potentially a pretty high qualifier. He's got top 6 potential. Gavel Officialski, bottom 6 potential, if we're honest, according to his times. But just like his compatriot Jan Swiatek, this has been a wonderful experience for him, and indeed all the Polish skaters, the men and the women. They've just taken part in every event that they've been allowed to enter, just soaking up the experience here, working alongside elite athletes from around the world, and trying to bridge that gap between being top of the pile nationally to becoming a force internationally. There is a way to go for these Poles, but they are learning all the time. And Officialski comes in with an 18.527, so he wins the unofficial battle of the Poles. But if your time is 18 seconds, you are not going to be qualifying out of a field of this quality. Nevertheless, I don't think that was his aim or ambition. It would have been a dream, but it would have been about beating personal bests. Now, here's a man who's capable. Silver in the 300-meter time trial behind Simon Albrecht. Then gold in the 1,000 meters. Andres Jimenez. Away he goes. How he would love to get his revenge on the German Albrecht on the road. They were the 1-2 on the track in the short time trial. Jimenez, what kind of speed can he come up with? Not the best. Not the best at all. And Jimenez will actually have to wait and see if that's good enough. And that will be a big surprise. Either way, Jimenez, even if he does qualify, he'll be starting down the pack. Well, we thought we'd get more from Andres Jimenez. Maybe 3 days of competition have taken their toll on the Colombian. Here's a man who hasn't had any competition so far, the road specialist Liam Garriga from Australia. Garriga up and running. Just hitting that first bend. Now he'll start to just open up the legs, get that upper body working in harmony with the lower limbs. Attack down this straight. Stretch for the line. He'll be disappointed. Safe to say that Liam Garriga will not be among the qualifiers. He's the sandwich between 2 Polish skaters on the times at the moment, with Gavel Officialski ahead of him and Jan Swiatek trailing him. So Garriga, I think, realistic and knowledgeable enough to know that those stripy socks will not be seen in the men's final.
Szanowni Państwo, teraz czas na przedstawiciela naszych południowych sąsiadów. Bardzo proszę.
Here's Matej Pravda
Matej Pravda.
from the Czech Republic. Our first chance to take a look at the 25-year-old Czech. See what he's all about.
I wystartował Matej Pravda z Czech.
Pravda gets off and attacks the bend. A little bit ragged technique down that straight, but he's getting some good speed. I mean, it may not be the prettiest thing you've ever seen, but he's given himself a chance, Pravda. 18.066. Now, he's going to be right on the edge, Pravda. It all depends on the athletes that follow him. So he's in the I'm not sure camp at the moment. He'll know more in 3 or 4 skaters' time, of course. Ezequiel Capellano of Argentina. Another man looking to transfer from the track to the road.
And he's on the race right now.
And away he goes. Still Emmanuel Silva Santibáñez with a very fast time leading the way, 17.048. Followed by the Dutch Mulder twins. Capellano, I don't think is going to be anywhere near them. No, he won't be happy. He won't be happy at all with that. He too tucks in behind Matej Pravda and Gavel Officialski, the Pole, who's 18.508, just a little bit better than Capellano's 18.528, 200ths of a second. Better, to be specific. So Capellano in 8th place, but you would think too much talent to come for him to make a top 12 spot. Franco Giancarlo of Ecuador is up next. Another man who favours the road to the track here at the World Games 2017. Nice smooth rhythm to the Ecuadorian. Gets down really low, low centre of gravity. That helps with the wind resistance as well. What's he going to come up with? It's a little bit on the cusp, isn't it, for Giancarlo? He moves into 7th, 18.262. This is all good news for Andres Jimenez, by the way, who remains in 5th place. He should be okay for qualification. But behind him, Pravda, then Giancarlo, who is now 7th and faces a nervous few minutes, waiting to see whether that's going to be a good enough skate to get him into the final. Here's Kai Schipper, the 3rd of the Dutch skaters. Very tall, long-limbed athlete, looking to get that quick start. The start, of course, absolutely vital. Get that wrong, you have no chance. Schipper coming out of the chicane. Well, 18.84 or thereabouts. We'll wait for the official. It's 18.452. That puts him 8th. He's in wait-and-see territory as well. Yeah, he's disappointed. That might not be enough. Huang Yulin. Had a spectacular crash on the track earlier on in the 1,000 metres. We'll be hoping for better fortune here. The Chinese Taipei skater. And away he goes. We saw one or two spectacular crashes. One of the Chinese Taipei women actually was taken to hospital just for observations. The bronze medalist Yang, she was okay, and Huang was okay after his slide off the last bend as well. And whether that's going to be okay remains to be seen. Huang moves into 7th place with an 18.206. It might be okay, but with Lucas Silva Santibanez up next, and then Simon Albrecht, and still Gwendal Lepivert. Albrecht and Lepivert, you know, will be amongst the top 12. And Santibanez, who skated such an intelligent 500-meter sprint to pick up bronze behind Albrecht and Juan Guzman. Well, that was all about tactics. This is all about beating the clock. Totally different discipline. And he's seen his brother skate well. He's top of the leaderboard, Emmanuel. How close can Lucas get to him, the younger brother, by a few months? That's not bad. Well, that'll put him into 6th spot, and that will be good enough for qualification. So he'll join his brother in the final. He and the skaters above him, Jimenez, Cao, the two Mulder twins, and Emmanuel Silva Santibanez, they're now all guaranteed. Mate Pravda, Huang Yulin, Franco Giancarlo, they are the ones waiting nervously now. And currently in 12th place, Ezequiel Capellano, and I think he's about to get nudged out of the top 12, because up next is the double gold medalist from the track, Simon Albrecht. The question not, will Albrecht qualify? The question is, how fast will he go? How high will he be on the board? If he's not number 1 or 2, that will be a major shock. And we've seen that with Jimenez, who's down in 5th, safely through, but Albrecht will want to do a lot better than that and will put himself into 2nd. He'll be happy enough with that. He moves ahead of the Mulder twins and tucked in 0.2 of a second behind Emmanuel Silva Santibanez, who continues to lead the way. So Albrecht has had a taste of this road. That's what it's all about now, and he'll be eyeing up a 3rd gold. He's certainly one of the contenders. That eliminates Ezequiel Capellano, and Gavel Officialski, the Pole, currently occupies 12th spot, but for how much longer? Joseba Fernandez of Spain is up next. He'll be looking to get inside 18.5 to get himself into the top 12. Anything faster than that will, of course, be a bonus. Can Fernandez add his name to the roll call of finalists here in the 200-meter? And he does, indeed, in some style. Right to the top of the list, Fernandez. That was a good start, and he continued it right through, effortlessly round the bend as well. And Fernandez looked absolutely terrific. Well, the road specialist showing exactly what he's capable of. Juan Guzman. Well, we've seen just how good he can be with a lot of extra bodies on the track when it's all bumping and boring and pushing and shoving. This man can more than hold his own. Silver in the 500 meters. Let's see what the Venezuelan can do when he's on his own. Just him against the clock. So Guzman, dynamic around that first bend, keeping really low, wind resistance down to a minimum, and Guzman just blasting his way out of that last bend. This is good from Guzman, good enough for 3rd place. So 17.220. Well, that puts him 3rd. That was impressive. That knocks out Kai Schipper. Franco Giancarlo, the Ecuadorian, is the man on the chopping block next, with 3 still to come.
Now we can see on the screen from Mexico. Please welcome Jorge Luis Martinez.
Jorge Luis Martinez of Mexico up next. Only one man inside 17 seconds. That was Joseba Fernandez. Martinez getting a really good start and finding a really nice tight line around that first bend as well. This is good from Martinez. Now, can he keep it going here down the home straight? Looking very good. Oh, wow. Well, Martinez and Fernandez have really shaken things up here. Both of them cracking 17 seconds. Terrific start from the Mexican. And he just carried it on from there. 16.832, 6/100ths of a second faster than Fernandez. That pushes Albrecht down to 5th. And Jimenez, he's qualified, but he's in 9th at the moment. 2 of the big guns from the track are being put in their place here during qualifying. And here's another one to keep an eye on. The Colombian Edwin Estrada. Very tall, long-limbed athlete, Estrada. And once he gets those pistons pumping, he really does generate a head of steam. Just look at how big those strides are from the start. Estrada absolutely tearing this track up here over the first 100 meters. Can he come through the bend? Yes, he can. And now he hits the line at 17, just outside. 17.034, but that's good enough for 3rd place. He too looks a very, very live prospect for a medal. So, 3 of the road specialists, Martinez, Fernandez and Estrada, showing exactly why. And the 4th fastest, Emmanuel Silva Santibáñez, also dispensed with competing on the track. And he's in 4th place, and there's only one athlete to go. Now, Matej Pravda, the Czech, is the man that's hanging on by his fingernails at the moment. And I think those fingernails are about to relinquish their grip on 12th spot, because Gwenda Le Pivet is certainly capable of cracking 18 seconds. If he does, all 12 finalists will be inside 18 seconds. So Le Pivet looking to join a very hot field. The bronze medalist on the track in the 300-meter time trial, looking to qualify. Took a really tight line there. He gambled, Le Pivet, and the gamble, I think, has paid off for him. Yes, 5th. 17.057. Talk about saving the best to last. That last group absolutely flew around there. And just to put some kind of context in this, Andres Jimenez, who dominated on the track, has qualified in 11th place here. Lucas Santibáñez takes 12th spot. But it's Jorge Luis Martinez and Joseba Fernandez leading the way. Gwenda Le Pivet taking 3rd. Edwin Estrada, dangerous outsider. Confirmation out of the lineup. The Mulder twins will go off 1st and 3rd. Jan Swiatek, Cow up next. Silva Santibáñez and Oficialski. Jimenez, the man to watch, of course. Moving down through the line, Lucas Silva Santibáñez, Simon Albrecht, the other big name. And Gwenda Le Pivet. May well be, if this goes according to the form book, that Jimenez, Le Pivet and the German Albrecht will be battling it out for the podium spots. But there are a handful of other skaters definitely capable on their day of gate crashing that particular party. Sometimes these events, you just never know with live sport. Sometimes these events go exactly to form, other times there are surprises. will this men's 300, 200 metre time trial bring us today? Well, there's the Silva Santibáñez brothers just getting themselves ready. And a very big and appreciative crowd in attendance early. And Ronald Mulder is ready to lead this qualification. We are officially underway. There's Ronald Mulder. In many ways, the unlucky man. First out of the traps. Nice tight line through the chicane there. And then really just... Confirmation then of the lineup. The Mulder twins will go off first and third. Jan Swiatek, Cow up next. Silva Santibáñez, and Oficialski, Jimenez, the man to watch, of course. Moving down through the line, Lucas Silva Santibáñez, Simon Albrecht, the other big name. And Gwendal Le Piver. May well be, if this goes according to the form book, that Jimenez, Le Piver, and the German Albrecht will be battling it out for the podium spots, but there are a handful of other skaters definitely capable on their day of gate crashing that particular party. Sometimes these events, you just never know with live sport. Sometimes these events go exactly to form, other times there are surprises. What will this men's 300, 200 metre time trial bring us today? Well, there's the Silva Santibáñez brothers just getting themselves ready. And a very big and appreciative crowd in attendance early. And Ronald Mulder is ready to lead this qualification. We are officially underway. There's Ronald Mulder. In many ways, the unlucky man. First out of the traps. Nice tight line through the chicane there. And then really just stretching it out there for a time of faster. 17.9. Actually, it's about the same, to be fair. I thought that was going to be quicker, but no. He got a 17.838. He may even be a little bit slower in the final analysis, and he is 17.922. So, Lucas Silva Santibáñez is not going to add to his medal collection here. He wouldn't have expected to, but he would have hoped to improve his time. Instead, it's gone the other way. Now, Andrés Jimenez. Silver in the 300 metre time trial. A brilliant gold in the 1,000 metre sprint. What a race that was. Dominated it with a tremendous burst down the back straight, hitting the front, going into that last bend, and then just blasting away down the home straight. They couldn't catch him. But here he is, on his own against the clock. Jimenez looking to improve on his 17.625. Oh, he didn't exactly take the greatest chicane there, did he? He had to shorten his stride pattern, lost rhythm. Well, he goes ahead of Lucas Silva Santibáñez, but I don't think he's about to celebrate anything in this performance. 17.4 dead. So he's taken nearly a quarter of a second off his qualifying time. It could have been better for him, and he knows it. And that brings brings up Cao Mao-Che.
And now, skaters from Chinese Taipei. Please welcome Mao Chi-Kao.
17.541 in qualifying in 10th place. In the knowledge that Chen picked up silver in the women's event, it would be an amazing achievement if Cao could get himself on the podium. But let's see if he can get himself into first place as he builds up some rhythm coming now around that first bend. Now he's got to get the upper body flying. Again, not the greatest work around the chicane. It was safe and steady, but he may need a bit more than that. Well, he goes into first place, but again, any times of 17 seconds are probably not going to be good enough to pick up a medal. 17.280 for Cao. Again, an improvement. That's a big improvement as well. Just over 0.3 of a second. So he may move up 1 or 2 places in the rankings with that time. He certainly hasn't let himself down when it matters. And now we come to the Dutch twins.
From the Netherlands, please welcome Michel Mulder.
First up, Michel. Brother Ronald waits in his own zone. Here goes Michel Mulder. Just ripping it around the first bend and opening up the upper body. That's better through the chicane. Now, what can Michel do on this straight as well? This could be a useful time. Well, it puts him into third place. Just drifted away a little bit when it mattered most. Took the chicane really well there, Michel Mulder. Well, a 17.468. He's drifted just outside Jimenez's time, and Cao's 17.280 stands up. Maintained his momentum, but didn't really put himself in a position to capitalize in the final 50 meters. So Michel, 17.468. A slight improvement on qualifying. Now Ronald, who had the edge in qualifying, nearly a full 1/10 of a second faster, which over 200 meters is quite a considerable chunk of real estate. Now Mulder, nice and low into the bend, coming out of it. A little bit choppy there. That comes through, and this is where he's got to really pick it up here, Ronald Mulder. The big dive for the line moves him into second place, 17.324. He moves ahead of Jimenez. He moves ahead of his twin brother, but he is behind Cao Mao-Che, whose time does indeed stand, as I thought it might. He will certainly move up from his 10th spot. Mulder, 17.299. Faster by a 1/10 of a second than qualifying. And Simon Albrecht, double gold medalist in previous World Games competition on the track in the 300-meter time trial, where he just looked outstanding and where he looked simply unbeatable in the 500-meter sprint. What can he do on the road? He looked a mere mortal in training. And he did take gold in the 2015 European Championships in this event. And he should be good enough to beat Ronald Mulder's time. Whether he can get past Cao remains to be seen. He'll need 17.28 to do that, and I think he's done that pretty handily. Yes, he has. 16.9 and change. Big improvement there for Albrecht. 16.929 officially now. That would have been good enough for third place in qualifying. So Albrecht will feel that he's redeemed himself a little bit. And I think Simon Albrecht also knows that another trip to the podium is highly unlikely. And a trip to the podium unlikely too for Joan Guzman. Always entertaining, really big-hearted Venezuelan. A joy to watch. A medalist on the track, looking to medal on the road as well. And after him, we will have the other Silva Santibanez brother. And then we're down to the big four qualifiers. Guzman, the little fella, with that dynamic all-out approach to his start. And just ducking low, swinging. Ooh, got that wrong. Did well to stay on his feet, but how much is that going to cost him? Let's see. Yeah, that's all it took. He committed everything going into that chicane, and it nearly cost him everything as well. As it is, Guzman will have to settle for 17.442, slower than he achieved in qualifying, and that will disappoint him. But he really went for it. And when you roll the dice, they don't always come up the way you want them to come up. Didn't work out then for him. He was so close there, and it was very close to hitting the grass there. Look at that. Now you are talking hundredths of a second damage. But that's all it takes in a race of such fine margins as this. So, Guzman, who is never boring, kept us entertained again, but he's way down the field. Now, Emmanuel Silva Santibanez has seen his brother put in a 17.911. He will be hoping for considerably better than that. Simon Albrecht still top of the pile, the only man under 17 seconds. Santibanez looking to be the second man, looking to put a marker down for Chile, who won gold in the women's discipline. And he too just gliding around that chicane, now attacking, putting in a big burst down the straight, but he didn't take the best of chicanes, did he, Silva Santibanez? He too is going to be down the list. 17.333. That's a lot slower than he achieved in qualifying. So, again, just like the Venezuelan before him, he didn't get the chicane right at all. Just lost his line. That's all it's going to take. 17.327. It is now officially. He's in fourth with the big four still to come. This, you would feel, is where the medals are coming from. It's still Simon Albrecht, Karl Mautier and Ronald Mulder. 1, 2, 3. But probably not for too much longer. Edwin Estrada. 17.035 for the powerful, long-striding Colombian in qualifying. Here he goes. Just getting those long legs of his going. The arms going to work as well. Upper and lower body working in sync. And here he is attacking that straight, going into the chicane. Coming out of there without any drama. Estrada goes into second place. Albrecht's time holds up, and I think he'll be a little disappointed there, Estrada. Just had to change his stride pattern a little bit going into the chicane. He too slower than qualifying. Not by much, but it doesn't take much. That's where he just managed to lose vital hundredths of seconds there, Estrada. And he'll have to settle for 17.140. And he achieved a tenth of a second faster than that in qualifying, so a podium finish unlikely. 3 to go. Gwendal Lepivert of France will be followed by Joseba Fernandez and Jorge Luis Martinez. They probably will be the medalists, but as we've seen already, one error of judgment can change everything. Here goes the Frenchman, blasting off the blocks. bronze medalist on the track in the time trial. The Frenchman looking to add to that with a medal in the road time trial. Getting good applause down the track. He too can't overhaul Albrecht. He does dip inside 17 seconds. 16.930. Would you believe that's a couple of hundredths of a second slower than Simon Albrecht, who is now assured of another medal here. The German Le Pivert goes into second place, and his hopes hanging by a slender thread now. Estrada down to third. So Le Pivert improves his qualifying time, but his hopes of a medal depend on an error or a bit of bad luck for one of the two remaining skaters. Both these two were so fast in qualifying that if it comes down to replicating what they did in qualifying, it's going to be a straight shootout between Jorge Luis Martinez to come and this man here, Joseba Fernandez, the Spaniard, who has dominated European skating at this distance for some time. The rangy Spaniard, those short chopping strides around the bend, then opening it up. Got to get the chicane right. Now, can he come out of that and burst? Can he find an extra explosion of speed? He goes into first place by the narrowest of margins. 1,000th of a second. Now, that'll have to be confirmed as well, because sometimes we see a few thousandths of seconds shaved up and down. They've shaved him down. So 16.897. He is 100th of a second faster than Simon Albrecht. And that knocks Albrecht into silver, with Martinez still to come, and Gwendal Le Pivert. His hold on the bronze medal is flimsy at best. Joseba Fernandez, 16.897, 1,000th of a second slower than qualifying. Is that going to be enough to get a medal? Jorge Luis Martinez is the only man between Fernandez and gold, and the way he skated in qualifying would suggest that all he's got to do is skate to the level of his ability and the gold medal will be his. Let's see, how does he cope with the pressure? Martinez underway, gritting the teeth, a grimace of determination as he blasts his way into that first bend. Coming out of that, now he'll open up the upper body. This is where he's got to pick up vital hundredths of seconds in and out of the chicane. That looks solid as well. Martinez driving for the line. Can he beat that time? No, he doesn't. He misses out altogether. Oh, a look of stunned disbelief from Jorge Luis Martinez. He's outside 17 seconds. Unbelievable. The man who looked so good in qualifying, who tore this 200 meters to shreds. Well, hard to see where it went wrong. I mean, it wasn't the cleanest through there. That's cost him a little bit. His stride pattern not ideal coming out of the chicane. And maybe that's all it's taken. It's pushed him down into fourth place. It's cost him a medal. And it's a European 1 and 2. And there's the champion, Joseba Fernandez. Delight for him. Simon Albrecht improved radically from 7th to 2nd, a silver to add to his 2 golds. And Gwendal Le Pivert, the Frenchman, does indeed hold on for a bronze medal he probably didn't expect a minute or so ago when Jorge Luis Martinez started his bid for glory. But it's a European 1, 2, 3. The South and Central Americans and the Asians pushed down the rankings. Fernandez for Spain taking gold. Simon Albrecht of Germany with a silver to add to his double gold from the track. And Gwendal Le Pivert of France, a 2nd bronze of these World Games for him. That's the first time we've seen the flag of Spain unfurled at speed skating. A first gold for Spain. And it comes from Joseba Fernandez. Here's confirmation. Fernandez, 16.897.